The Sanhedrin calls on the U.S. and Russia to build the third temple. George Soros may be financing another color revolution, this time in the United States. And the Trump administration begins to take shape. It's SkyWatchTV for Wednesday, November 16th, 2016. I'm Derek Gilbert. First up, who's behind the riots in Portland, Oregon? This is beginning to look like deja vu all over again. 2 months ago, you remember the riots in Charlotte, North Carolina? Police there confirmed that 70% of the people arrested were from out of state. And we know that George Soros helped finance the local protests in Ferguson, Missouri last year. Many of those people were not local at all. Now KGW News in Portland reports that 60% of the anti-Trump protesters arrested there over the last few days are also from out of state and, by the way, did not vote, ironically. Now, USA Today ran an article over the weekend assuring the American public that these protests are totally grassroots, an uprising of people dissatisfied at the unfairness of the Electoral College. But some good reporting from ZeroHedge.com, which is a news source I use every day, and the Gateway Pundit blog debunked USA Today's article pretty quickly. It's clear that professional protesters and activists are behind these protests. And furthermore, these open-minded paragons of social justice are openly calling for people to break the law and threatening reporters who want to cover these protests. And look at this leaflet that was handed out to students at Portland State University. Don't snitch, ever. Don't help the police. Stop filming. Consider this a warning. These are brown shirt tactics. And the irony here is that these kids don't even realize that they are playing the part of the Nazis. Now, this raises a question about the interesting color choice used by Hillary Clinton at her concession speech last week. You might have noticed all the purple on Bill and Hillary. Now, analysts explained it away as a blending of red and blue, a symbol that America should come together and join as one. But investigative journalist Wayne Madsen has a different take on the situation. He believes that the Clintons were signaling the start of a new color revolution. As I mentioned earlier this week, George Soros and his Open Society initiative, with money from the U.S. State Department under the George W. Bush administration, I must point out, helped finance the 2003 Rose Revolution in Georgia and the Orange Revolution in 2004-2005 in Ukraine. Call this the Purple Revolution unfolding. We'll see if this has legs. Now, at least one world leader, while Europe kind of panics over the election of Donald Trump, at least one world leader is glad at the results of last Tuesday's election. That would be Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
President-elect Trump, my friend, congratulations on being elected President of the United States of America. You are a great friend of Israel. Over the years, you've expressed your support consistently, and I deeply appreciate it. I look forward to working with you to advance security, prosperity, and peace. Israel is grateful for the broad support it enjoys among the American people, and I'm confident that the two of us, working closely together, will bring the great alliance between our two countries to even greater heights. May God bless America. May God bless Israel. May God bless our enduring alliance.
Trump's daughter Ivanka is married to a Jew, Jared Kushner. They're raising their children in modern Orthodox Judaism. So for Mr. Trump, this is personal. And rabbis in Israel are reaching out too, and not just to President-elect Trump. The Sanhedrin, and yes, there is a Sanhedrin again in Israel for the first time in a couple millennia, are calling on Trump and Russia's President Vladimir Putin to build the third temple in Jerusalem. Both have expressed strong support for Israel. Rabbi Hillel Weiss said, quote, "The political conditions today in which the two most important national leaders in the world support the Jewish right to Jerusalem as their spiritual inheritance is historically unprecedented," end quote. Now just remember, whenever anyone talks about building the third temple, you run into problems because the site is currently occupied by the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. Former presidential candidate Dr. Ben Carson has turned down a role in the Trump administration. Longtime friend of Dr. Carson, Armstrong Williams, told Politico that Dr. Carson basically had his pick of jobs in the incoming administration, but turned it down because he feels he can do a better job as an outside advisor because of his lack of experience with Washington's bureaucracy. Republicans in the House of Representatives unanimously reelected Paul Ryan as Speaker. Bloomberg News reporting that Ryan can thank Donald Trump for his support for Ryan keeping his job. Ryan is good friends with Reince Priebus, who was named White House Chief of Staff by Trump over the weekend, a move that some have criticized as a compromise with the GOP establishment rejected by the voters, but others see it as a move by Trump to ensure that his administration will be able to work with Congress and actually get things done. The cities of Chicago and Boston have joined the state of California and about 300 other sanctuary cities, counties, and states around the country in refusing to help incoming President Trump fulfill his promise to deport 2 to 3 million illegal immigrants with criminal records. We may find out starting in January how many of these counties, cities, states need their federal funding more than they need their criminal illegal aliens. How about that moon night before last? The supermoon, closest supermoon since 1948, 14% bigger, 30% brighter than normal. Unless you really look at the moon a lot, it might not have seemed a whole lot different, but, and in fact, the whole 14% bigger, 30% brighter sounds like an ad for laundry soap. But it was an exceptionally bright full moon. I read one report that indicated that said that it was the brightest supermoon since May 14th of 1948, which would be remarkable because that just happens to be the date that Israel declared independence. But that is factually incorrect. It was the supermoon in 1948 was actually January 26th, but still the same year as the supermoon, the same year as the culmination of the Babylon working, the same year, well, or the following year after the UFO flap really took off. Still a very significant period in history. So is there prophetic significance in this 68-year recurrence? Again, time will tell. Coming up, Israel searches for more of its history while the Islamic State tries to destroy history. That's ahead on SkyWatch TV. The technology that's changing the modern military is changing the very definition of what it means to be human. SkyWatch TV is proud to offer the important new book from Lieutenant Colonel Bob McGinnis, Future War: Super Soldiers, Terminators, Cyberspace, and the National Security Strategy for 21st Century Combat. Order Future War from the SkyWatch TV store, and you'll also get Never Submit by Lieutenant Colonel Bob McGinnis, the Blood on the Altar audio presentation, The Coming War Between Christian versus Christian, featuring Tom Horn and Steve Quayle. What You Don't Know Will Kill You: Genetics, GMOs, and the Plan to Eradicate Humankind, a special investigative report from Tom Horn and the SkyWatch TV team. And a 2-year subscription to Skywatch TV magazine. This is a value of more than $125, yours for just $24.95. Order now by calling toll-free 844-750-4985 or log on to skywatchtvstore.com. What evil lies sleeping beneath the mountains of Switzerland, or has perhaps been awakened? It's one of the questions we address on this week's edition of SkyWatch TV. Tom Horn and Josh Peck are the guests, talking about their forthcoming book, Abaddon Ascending. Don't miss this one. For a complete list of dates and times, log on to skywatchtv.com, click the link in the top menu bar that says channels, or play the program on demand, as long as you can access the SkyWatch TV channel on Roku. More politics. CBS News reports that Donald Trump asked the White House how his kids could get top secret security clearance. You see, Mr. Trump trusts his family and his children, Eric Trump, Donald Jr., his daughter Ivanka, and her husband, Jared Kushner, are advising the incoming president on staff selections for the Trump administration. That's not unusual, and I take it as a good thing that Mr. Trump trusts his family. The big question is, how did CBS News find out about this? This was a private communication between Mr. Trump and the White House. Well, the Last Refuge blog, another site I look at every day, points out that Deputy National Security Advisor Ben Rhodes just happens to be the brother of David Rhodes, president of CBS News. And the media wonders why we don't trust them. Looks like Donald Trump may be bringing peace to Jews and Muslims in ways he didn't expect. See, it's not because he's finding a solution to the Palestinian problem, but because most American Jews and Muslims voted for Hillary. See, the Times of Israel reports that Monday, the American Jewish Committee and the Islamic Society of North America launched the Muslim Jewish Advisory Council. Religious and business leaders from both communities working together to draft policy, legislation, and advocate on issues of shared concern. Now, Muslims obviously upset at Mr. Trump's comments during the campaign about a moratorium on Muslim immigration. Now, the Jewish community, frankly, I have no clue what domestic concerns the Jewish community would share with the Muslim community. Oh, there are concerns that Mr. Trump is racist, but that's not a concern anyone ever raised about Mr. Trump until he decided to run for president. And I remind you, his daughter has married a Jewish man and is raising Mr. Trump's grandchildren in modern Orthodox Judaism. Again, this is personal for him. He's also the only presidential candidate from either party who said that he would make Jerusalem, recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. I'm not trying to be flippant here. I find it difficult to understand what issues American Jews find where they have common cause with Muslims. It is mind-boggling. The Anti-Defamation League, which is a Jewish advocacy organization, plans to support legal and legislative efforts to fight anti-Muslim bigotry. Once they win that fight, then what? History is not on the side of these people. Donald Trump plans to support a bill that was introduced last November by Senator Ted Cruz in the Senate, designating the Muslim Brotherhood and its affiliate organizations as a terror organization. That's according to Walid Ferez, a foreign policy advisor to the incoming president. He told this to an Egyptian news outlet in an interview over the weekend. Again, the bill filed last November. It's already passed the House Judiciary Committee, but it's been hung up in the Senate because of the opposition of the Obama administration. The first week of November was especially difficult for the Army's Special Forces. 6 Green Berets killed in 3 days between the 2nd and 4th of November, making it an especially deadly week. 3 separate incidents, 2 died in a firefight in Afghanistan. 3 others died while entering a military base in Jordan, and another died in a training accident off the coast of Florida. The government officials say that the 3 killed in Jordan were working for the Central Intelligence Agency. They were shot dead November 4th by a Jordanian soldier. That case still under investigation by the FBI. ISIS has been busy over the last couple of years trying to erase history, or at least any history that's not Islamic. These pictures from the city of Nimrud, Iraq, or Nimrud, I guess it's pronounced. That's about 20 miles south of Mosul. It's an ancient city that's basically been demolished by the Islamic State. It's believed to be the site of the biblical Kala, or Calais, mentioned in Genesis 10, verse 11, as one of the cities, the first cities of the kingdom of Nimrod. Archaeologists have been working the site off and on since 1845. This happens to be the city where the real Semiramis lived. She lived in the late 9th century BC, so about 2,300 years after Nimrod. So the whole Nimrod-Semiramis thing, bad scholarship. Anyway, it's ironic that a group that is trying really, really hard to erase human history is itself trying to turn back the clock theologically to the 7th century. And meanwhile, the Israeli government is financing an effort to find more history, specifically Dead Sea Scrolls, the Israel Antiquities Authority funding the major archaeological expedition that'll spend 3 years surveying hundreds of caves in the Judean desert near the Dead Sea. Now, this is politically sensitive because it's in the West Bank. If I were a globalist or anti-Semitic, I'd call it the occupied West Bank. The project kicks off in December. This is funded by the Prime Minister's office in Israel. These Dead Sea Scrolls date to about 400 years either side of the birth of Jesus. Archaeologists also hope to find artifacts that could be as old as 3000 BC. That is roughly the time of Nimrod. This is a project we discussed in this program just a few weeks back with Dr. Aaron Judkins. He was holding a Kickstarter or fundraiser campaign to raise support he needed to be a part of this this excavation, this expedition, and we're happy to report that last week he met his goal. So we hope to get some reports from Dr. Judkins in the field when this kicks off in December. Please visit us online, skywatchtv.com. You'll find links there to all of our social media sites. And thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV.